At 4:47 a.m., frost clings to the tarmac. The air sits frozen, heavy, waiting. Across 3 concealed airstrips deep in eastern Ukraine, engineers in thermal gear make final checks. No speeches. No cameras. Just the hum of rotors spinning up in the dark. 280 drones lift into the pre-dawn sky. But these aren't Ukrainian-built. They're Russian Shaheds, shot down, salvaged, stripped to the circuit board, and resurrected. Every navigation chip reverse-engineered. Every warhead reprogrammed. Every flight path rewritten. This is not salvage. This is psychological reversal. For months, Ukrainian technical teams dissected the wreckage of Russia's most prolific strike drone, the Iranian-designed Shahed 136. They mapped its GPS modules, cracked its encrypted waypoints, rewired its detonation sequences. What Moscow sent to destroy Ukrainian power grids now returns as a mirror image, aimed back at the source. The first wave climbs to 800 meters, then splits into 6 vectors. Thermal exhaust trails vanish into cloud cover. Ground crews watch the last blip disappear from their screens. No radio chatter. No confirmation needed. This operation doesn't aim to win a battle. It aims to break a belief. Because across the border, Russian air defense operators sip coffee in climate-controlled command bunkers, surrounded by the best networked missile systems money can buy. S-400s. Panzer S-1S, Tor M2S, layered, overlapping, proven. They've shot down hundreds of drones before. They'll shoot down hundreds more. Or so they think. The frost begins to melt. The sun hasn't risen yet. But the sky is already full. 90 kilometers out, a Russian S-400 radar array picks up the first signatures. Low-altitude contacts. Dozens of them. Speed, 180 kilometers per hour, heading, direct. Inside the command bunker, a junior officer flags the screen. His superior glances over, unimpressed. Standard drone incursion. Activate Panzers. Engage at 30 kilometers. No alarm in his voice. No urgency. Just procedure. They've done this 70 times in the past 4 months. Intercept rate, 92%. Loss rate, negligible. The math works. 3 Panzer S-1 batteries power up across the defensive perimeter. Radar dishes rotate, locking onto inbound thermal blooms. Targeting computers assign priorities. Missile tubes elevate. Green lights across the board. The officer leans back. Confidence built on repetition. Built on Western intelligence assessments that Ukrainian drone production can't sustain large-scale operations. Built on the assumption that quantity has limits. But assumption is the enemy's best weapon. At 60 kilometers, radar signatures multiply. 40 contacts become 80. 80 become 120. Operators zoom out. The screen fills with red chevrons, each one crawling closer. Probable decoy saturation. Increase intercept priority on high-confidence targets. First layer Panzers engage. Missiles streak skyward. Thermal blooms erupt across the horizon. Confirmed kills flash green on the screen. 12 targets down. Then 18. Then 24. Ammo counters tick downward. The officer nods. See. Routine. But in the back row, a radar technician stares at his monitor. The wave isn't thinning. It's reorganizing. Contacts drop altitude, split into clusters, change speed mid-flight. He opens his mouth to speak. Then closes it. Who questions success? The second Panzer battery fires. Another 6 kills. Another 6 missiles spent. Reload cycle begins, 8 minutes. And somewhere over the steppe, the real strike force drops to 15 meters and disappears from every screen. Here's what the officer doesn't know. Of the 120 inbound contacts, only 48 are real Shaheds. The other 72 are cheap decoys, aluminum frames wrapped in thermal blankets, dragging radar reflectors on parachute tethers. Construction cost, $3,000 each. Lifespan, 22 minutes. Every time a Panzer S-1 fires, it burns a $200,000 missile. Every time an S-400 engages, that number jumps to $1.2 million. The intercept math looks perfect, until you check the economics. Russian air defense just spent $14.4 million destroying $216,000 worth of decoys. And while they reloaded, the real drones kept flying. Because here's the trap Ukraine built into this operation: reload time is physics, not tactics. A Panzer S-1 needs 8 minutes to swap missile canisters. An S-400 needs 12 minutes to cycle through fire control sequences and rearm. That's not a flaw. That's a window. Ukrainian strike planners don't need to destroy air defense systems. They just need to empty them. Force them to shoot. Force them to reload. Then slip through during the gap. And the second wave? Already airborne. Time to arrive 9 minutes after the first. Back in the command bunker, ammo status updates flash amber. First battery, 40% reserves. Second battery, 55%. Third battery, 62%. The officer frowns. Request resupply from Depot 7. His aide hesitates. Sir, Depot 7 is 40 clicks behind the line. Truck convoy needs 2 hours. Then get them moving. Now. But Depot 7 is already gone. At 5:22 a.m., emergency orders cascade through Russian air defense networks. Relocate S-400 batteries to priority infrastructure. Crimean Bridge. Fuel depot clusters. Command relays. Move now. It's the correct tactical response. Protect high-value assets. Reinforce weak points. Adapt to threat evolution. It's also exactly what Ukrainian planners predicted. Because moving air defense creates a 15-minute vulnerability window. Radar systems go offline. Missile tubes retract. Targeting computers reboot. Fire control links drop. You can't shoot while you're driving. And Ukrainian intelligence knows every convoy route. Every relay station. Every choke point. At 5:29 a.m. the third wave launches. 80 Shaheds, targeting not static positions but moving convoys. Real-time satellite feeds track Russian air defense vehicles racing toward the Crimean Bridge, headlights cutting through morning fog. The drones adjust course mid-flight. No human pilot. No remote operator. Just pre-programmed logic trees and basic if-then commands. If target moves, recalculate intercept. If radar activates, switch to terrain following mode. If jamming detected, revert to inertial guidance. Simple. Reliable. Unstoppable. A Panzer S-1 convoy speeds along a 2-lane highway, 18 kilometers from the bridge. Crews inside scan the sky, radar dishes still folded for transport. They never see the Shahed descending at 220 kilometers per hour. Impact, lead vehicle. Explosion flips the radar truck. Secondary blast shreds the missile carrier. Convoy stops. Battery eliminated. 3 minutes later another convoy hit. Then another. Inside Air Defense Command the operations map turns into a spreading wound. Red X's multiply. Each one a battery. Each one a gap in coverage. A general slams his fist on the table. Stop moving. Lock down positions and engage. But his deputy shakes his head. Sir, if we stop now, fuel depots are exposed. If we keep moving, we can shoot. Either way, we lose. The room goes silent. At 5:47 a.m., the final wave launches. 120 Shaheds. 6 launch sites. Simultaneous departure. Converging trajectories. This time, no decoys. All real. All armed. Russian air defense scrambles every remaining asset. Pantsers, Tors, S-400s, even shoulder-fired Iglas. Radar screens flood with contacts. Targeting computers assign priorities. Missile tubes swivel, lock, fire. But mathematics is absolute. Each Panzer S-1 battery can engage 18 targets simultaneously. Each S-400 battery can handle 36 targets across multiple channels. Total Russian air defense capacity in the southern sector, 54 concurrent intercepts. 120 inbound targets. 120 minus 54 equals 66 guaranteed penetrations. No amount of training changes the equation. No tactical brilliance rewrites physics. The defense network hits maximum capacity and breaks. Operators watch targeting queues overflow. Red warnings cascade. Fire control systems lock up, overwhelmed by track volume. Human decision-making collapses into triage, save the bridge or save the fuel depot. Protect command or protect supply lines. You can't choose both. At 5:51 a.m., the first Shahed penetrates. Target, fuel storage complex. 12 tanks, 4 million liters of diesel. Detonation triggers a fireball visible from orbit. At 5:53 a.m., another hits the Crimean Bridge's rail approach. Structural damage, reparable, but the bridge closes for 72 hours minimum. At 5:54 a.m., a command relay station loses power. Backup generators kick in, but encrypted comms drop for 90 seconds, long enough for 3 more drones to slip through unengaged. The network doesn't fail all at once. It disintegrates piece by piece. Panzer gunners stop firing. Not from cowardice. From empty tubes. Ammo reserves exhausted. Reload trucks still 40 minutes out. Radar operators stop calling contacts. Not from panic. From saturation blindness. Too many targets. Too much data. Human cognition can't process 80 simultaneous threats. And the drones keep coming. Because Ukrainian engineers didn't just reverse engineer hardware. They reverse engineered doctrine. They studied how Russian air defense trains, how it prioritizes, how it thinks, and they built an attack sequence designed to overload every decision node simultaneously. At 6:02 a.m., the last Shahed detonates. Then silence. By 7 a.m., Ukrainian intelligence consolidates strike assessment data. 73% penetration rate. 88 successful impacts. 32 intercepted. Critical infrastructure offline across 6 strategic nodes. Ammunition depots destroyed, 3, artillery supply disrupted for 21 to 28 days. Fuel reserves reduced by 40%. Bridge closures forced 300-kilometer detours for logistics convoys. Russian expenditure, $840 million in interceptors, infrastructure damage, and operational delays. Ukrainian expenditure, $22 million in drone operations, fuel, and technical labor. Cost-exchange ratio, 38:1. But numbers don't capture the deeper wound. Because Russian commanders now face an impossible question: how do we defend against our own technology? Every Shahed shot down is a potential future threat. Every wreck becomes raw material. Every salvaged circuit board becomes a lesson. The enemy learns from every failure. And Ukrainian engineers aren't stopping. They're already analyzing the next target, Krasuka, for electronic warfare systems. Russian jamming platforms designed to blind Ukrainian drones. What happens when those get reverse-engineered? Air Defense Command issues new guidance: destroy all downed drones. Total incineration. No recovery. But it's too late. The knowledge is loose. The mirror is built. And across the border, in a climate-controlled workshop buried beneath farmland, Ukrainian engineers power up a new test rig. On the workbench sits a Krasuka for antenna array, salvaged 3 weeks ago. A technician plugs in the diagnostic cable. The screen lights up green. And somewhere in Moscow, a strategist realizes the terrifying truth. At 5:47 a.m., the final wave launches. 120 Shaheds. 6 launch sites. Simultaneous departure. Converging trajectories. This time, no decoys. All real. All armed. Russian air defense scrambles every remaining asset. Pantsers, Tors, S-400s, even shoulder-fired Iglas. Radar screens flood with contacts. Targeting computers assign priorities. Missile tubes swivel, lock, fire. But mathematics is absolute. Each Panzer S-1 battery can engage 18 targets simultaneously. Each S-400 battery can handle 36 targets across multiple channels. Total Russian air defense capacity in the southern sector, 54 concurrent intercepts. 120 inbound targets. 120-54 equals 66 guaranteed penetrations. No amount of training changes the equation. No tactical brilliance rewrites physics. The defense network hits maximum capacity and breaks. Operators watch targeting queues overflow. Red warnings cascade. Fire control systems lock up, overwhelmed by track volume. Human decision-making collapses into triage: save the bridge or save the fuel depot. Protect command or protect supply lines. You can't choose both. At 5:51 a.m., the first Shahed penetrates. Target, fuel storage complex. 12 tanks, 4 million liters of diesel. Detonation triggers a fireball visible from orbit. At 5:53 a.m., another hits the Crimean bridge's rail approach. Structural damage, reparable, but the bridge closes for 72 hours minimum. At 5:54 a.m., a command relay station loses power. Backup generators kick in, but encrypted comms drop for 90 seconds, long enough for 3 more drones to slip through unengaged. The network doesn't fail all at once. It disintegrates piece by piece. Panzer gunners stop firing. Not from cowardice. From empty tubes. Ammo reserves exhausted. Reload trucks still 40 minutes out. Radar operators stop calling contacts. Not from panic. From saturation blindness. Too many targets. Too much data. Human cognition can't process 80 simultaneous threats. And the drones keep coming.